Go! I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining us again on another day, another opportunity for us to consciously evolve with the centering thought that is iteration optimization. Me and Joe went to Easter dinner yesterday with our family. There was layered salad, like a broccoli salad. There was turkey. It's my first time eating turkey like that.
Really?
Yep. There was stuffing, which I've never had in my life.
It was basically kind of like a dumbed down Thanksgiving meal.
Pretty much.
Mashed
Mini
potatoes,
mashed potatoes. There were beans with
apple beans.
apple beans.
Apple beans.
That was a first for me. Iteration optimization. You like that, Dad? It's a pretty cool combo of words, don't you think? And then we came back home, right? And we do this thing where we'll put oil on our scalps. Basically like once a week is I believe, the best cadence. And we've done it now, I think, like 4 different times.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So we've had 4 iterations, right, of doing this. And every time we have an iteration, there is optimization. We learn things. We learn about how to prepare beforehand, about how hot the oil needs to be for it to distribute easier. And it just came to me yesterday, especially, almost like actually Wednesday, no, Saturday when we were driving, where we were having a few conversations about the way I showed up in my family, right? And I was trying to articulate why it is I get skizzy sometimes. And I believe that my reasoning was that I spend so much time doing something. And ideally, I would like to get better at the thing that it is I'm doing every time that I do it. And then in this process of trying, almost like maybe struggling a little bit, I sometimes find a better way of doing something. And then as soon as I do find a better way of doing something, I try to share. Right. Yesterday we talked about the whole ownership of knowledge. Right. It's harder to take ownership of something someone else has teach you, but some people iterate on things more than others. Right. And I feel like that's going to be one of my new metrics with which I judge when I learn information. Right. For example, I know you are a big Dr. K fan. He has been iterating on his content production and his presentation of ideas. And he's been a psychologist for what now, 8 years or something. So he has had chances to iterate and iterate and iterate when it comes to like the mental games, if you will, we unconsciously sometimes play, to the point where there is some optimization happening with him as a teacher. And I think the same thing with like Mark Whitwell. He's been, I think, doing that practice that we did this morning for
Oh
40
man,
years
yeah, something like
plus.
that.
Yeah, 40 years he's been iterating. And the joke is that when I started doing the practice,
Reiterating,
I
is that the word?
yeah, well, maybe reiterate. Reiterate when you say something again, right? And iteration is when you do something over and over again, I think. Suddenly
I
I'm,
didn't mean to jump like
suddenly I'm like, language. So yeah, like in that way, right? When I started doing the practice, I changed something, right? Even though he had iterated for 40 years and he has optimized his practice for himself, the practice to me wasn't as optimized as I wanted it to be. So I'm like holding both of these perspectives of like what I'm willing to learn and how I learn things in myself. I believe personally the best way for me to learn something is to have iterations, right? Like I'm not, for instance, another perspective to share that will make this a little bit more. You have to start going soon. It'll make it a little bit more clear. Is I built a little wooden frame for the red light that's above our faces, and I measured the red light for the wooden frame to be the exact size that it needs to be. And then after I built it and I had it set up and I stepped back, I realized I could have not cut it.
Okay.
I love you. Have a good day.
Okay.
Iterating another one. I hope you optimize something, Joe. Get even gooder. So I realized, I realized that I could have actually left it longer, right? Instead of going through the process of cutting the wood, I could have just not. I could have literally saved myself work and it would have been better, right? And the only way for me to find that out is to have iterated, to have done it once, and then to know that if I wanted to do it again, I would be able to do it even better. And I think there's something to be said about that. I think it's pretty cool that we can do things better and better as we keep going. It's nice to be here with you, friends. That sounds so nice. The daily routine. That's the part that I desperately want to share with a life partner. Do you have a routine as it is right now? That's the thing I'm wondering about, Dan. Do you sleep at a certain time? Do you wake up at a certain time? I think you told me yesterday about the fact that you have in your routine therapy and you play bass guitar or practice bass guitar on Fridays. But do you have a little bit more of like a daily routine that you manifest? We had Zoe out like 3 times this morning. He's been a little bit antsy. Little bit antsy. My hair is freaking, it just mega floof. I don't know what to do about the situation. I don't want to right now put any more mousse in it. You friends are just gonna have to deal with the super floof. Maximum bo floofies. That sounds so nice. Bless again. Oiling your scalps, cleaning the space, grocery shopping, cooking tasty meals, video games while she naps, movie night together, so on and so forth. Yeah, we do some of those things. Cleaning the space is a big one. Grocery shopping, that is fun. I'll agree with you on that. And the things that we don't realize play such a big role. The little things are the big things kind of stuff, right? Stuffing is gross. I mean, it was like flavor. It was pretty flavor. I was like, yeah, checks out. Stuffing is fire. I'm getting to a place where I'm doing all of the above alone, and it's becoming painful. Also, one day I'll own a pizza shop and run an Easter Day special called Crust Has Arisen. That caught me off guard. 100%. I have to have a routine to manage being a single person in New York City. I can imagine. Do you want to share what your routine is like? Cool. Now let's get out and get those applications, buddy. Henry Dawson, just so you know, I am technically a foreigner, right? I am a foreigner. An immigrant is another word that we can use. And as an immigrant, at least the type of immigrant that I am literally, by law, not allowed to get a job right now. After we get married, there will be a process that I have to undergo. That's like filling out forms, like a work authorization, WAF, work authorization form, where I have to get authorized to be able to work in your country. And if I even apply for a job before I have that authorization, I get sent home, all right? Like getting fired from being in your country, pretty much. So in that way, I would love to get a job already. I'm gonna go get some mousse. I'm gonna try and fix this whole situation that's going on inside of my head. Have you ever heard of a hairbrush, Jason? Hairbrushes ain't it though. Like I wish I could just put a hairbrush in this situation. Have you ever heard of punctuation? Living in New York State is rough. I got out and moved to the West. I know that there's a lot of people moving out and away from the cities right now as well because it is so much. Combat Journeys is here. Hey man, what's going on there, buddy? Here for an extra while today. Well, thank you for joining us, Combat Journey. Welcome, and do make yourself comfortable. I like your shirt. You look very nice with that shirt. Can I please borrow your shirt? If you can bring it back. Will you bring it back? If you'll bring it back, I could borrow it. But probably not. You want to see what my hair routine looks like? No? Well, too bad. Yeah, it's real too bad. I'm gonna try and collapse these legs. There we go. Yes, this little light is working. And I take this stuff and I go. It is technically glue. I can feel the poor pumper having a hard time. And then we go. All right, a comb will not be able to do as much as some moose would. Yeah. You see, boop. The situation is a little bit more under control. Better? Stop making fun of me now, okay? Please. I'm gonna cry. For what it's worth, I make more fun of myself than anyone else can manage to. All right. I think that's it. Do I have to do more? Wash the glue off my hands. And then steer back. Those little runaways. All right. Let's return to our comfortable space. Mm-hmm. Now we can do the last little bitties. It's probably like a whole mess happening in the back of my head, but we'll pretend that that's not happening. Where's my coffee? Did I leave my coffee in the other room? That's a real bummer. Now I'm gonna have to go get up again. 1 second, please. Uno momentus. Ooh. Joe just sent me a message. And if this message is right, then I need to go and bring things inside. Yep. Yay! Let me put the stuff that needs to be put in the fridge in the fridge. Give me 1 second. I heard you, Zoe. Screaming is not the answer. You will not get my attention with screaming. You said that. Oh my, for fuck's sake. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh my goodness. All my coffee is on the ground. Oh, jeebies. No, Zoe, please. Oh, give me a second. Just stop screaming. Oh my goodness. I did not screw the top of my freaking flask on properly enough. And then every drop of coffee went to the ground. Oh my goodness, I'm dying inside. I'm so... Oh, that hurts. That's like, I think that's max pain. This is one of those max pain kind of experiences. There's coffee in between my sandals and myself. Oh my goodness. This is, iteration. Yes. Today's stream topic is about iteration, optimization. And you see, every time you do something, you get a little bit better at it. And I clearly need all the help I can get. I don't think I've ever made a mess of a kitchen as much as I just did. Oh my, I'm dying inside. Oh my goodness, I hate this so much. Zoe screaming in the other room. I have like a sip left. That's cool. Yeah. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes that's just how it be. Oh, fucking hell, this is literally hurting me. Right, like I have like extreme physical pain tolerance, I think. Like physical pain doesn't really do it. This right here, this is what pain feels like to me. This is real pain. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down. No use crying over spilled coffee, right? Right. That's the lesson I need to learn right now. I'm gonna go get a cleaner towel. Okay. I got coffee between me and my watch as well. You all see. I'm like dying inside. Legit, it feels like my soul is leaving my body. I think it's in part because all my coffee is gone. I think that's part of the crying. I'm crying. I'm like, dude. My spoon of honey and dollop of cream. Oh my goodness. How does it keep flowing? Oh my, send help. Somebody send me help. I need an adult. That ain't gonna help me. don't think it's clean. I'm gonna have to mop the floor, but I'm gonna not do that right now. Man, that sucks. That sucks so much. Did this thing just like auto disconnect as well? Did this thing just like auto disconnect as well? I don't know how long it's been auto disconnected for. I'm getting some fucking universe challenge, I think. It seems to be my experience right now. Most of the coffee is no longer on the ground, at least. I have gotten... Oh, I've got the most of it. I am so skizzed right now. My poor brain. Calm down, Zoe. Calm down. Okay. I feel like I'm calming down. It's happening. I think the reality of what just happened has dawned on me and has passed. I think the fact that it happened on the stream, like I was just trying to quickly put some stuff away and get my coffee a dollop of cream in it. The groceries had some cream and like, I'm so sorry. I'll be with you friends momentarily. I don't know why my stream turned off as well. I don't know how long it's been turned off for. I don't know if it's even live right now. But I do feel this sense of like cosmic giggle kind of arising in my spirit. Today's stream topic is about optimization, iteration optimization to be exact. Right? And what that means to me is that every time I do something again, I try to optimize. Right? I do have a certain process with which I make my coffee, certain process with which I show up and stream, and it's very satisfying, I'll say as well, when things work the way that I expect them to. And then when I make a mistake, right, I don't even know how I made that mistake. It's just not being present enough in my experience, right, to do the things the way I'm supposed to. And then I pay the price. Sometimes a part of the iteration looks like making mistakes and realizing you don't want to make such a mistake ever again. All right, I'm calm. Did I have a scarf on? I'm pretty sure I did have a scarf on, but I don't seem to have a scarf on anymore. I'm so sorry. I'm very ungrounded. And I know that I might be ungrounding some of you friends in my ungrounded energy, and if I am, I really do apologize. Well, upon looking for my scarf, I found it. Good. Oh, that's why I took it off, because it was covered in coffee. Okay, I'm gonna take it off again. makes sense that I took it off. Just maximum skiz. I'm coming with an orange scarf now. think that'll fit this shirt as well. Oh, I'm like experiencing extreme levels of cringe. Usually I'm like pretty cringe immune, but no, not when coffee comes into the fray. I don't think so. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, here we go. I feel like I have settled myself. Got out, moved to the west. Are you going to see the new Mario Galaxy movie? Probably not. I haven't been watching much. I heard bad stuff though. I heard people aren't liking it as much. I think that's also part of the reason. Sunday I make 3 lunches for the week. I buy lunch on Thursdays, so 3 lunches. Monday and Tuesdays I wake up at 5:45, shower, eat breakfast, and get out of the door by 6:20. That's really early actually, Dan. Yaos kebab, gavity goose here with us too. I'm happy to see that. YouTube saying, have you heard the two wolves theory? Inside everyone is 2 wolves. Most people forget that also inside everyone is 2 kidneys. Let me have one of yours. Don't be greedy. That took me off. That definitely took me out, off guard. I get home at 7:40 p.m., shower again, read for an hour. That's Monday and Tuesday. The guitarist. Cool. Just glad to see you got the scarf going today. You look naked without your scarves. Yeah, I think yesterday I didn't have a scarf on. And I also, like, looking at the thumbnail, I was like, wait a second, did I forget? Yesterday was hard for me. I was definitely, like, the cumulative sleep depravity was kind of like hitting me all at the same time. We did at least get some proper sleep last night, which I did appreciate. Then Wednesday, Thursday, same thing, except I get home at 3:40 instead. I go for a run and then I have some chill time to myself. Fridays are chores, bass lessons, therapy. Saturdays are my open day, and then Sundays back to prepping for the week. So yeah, very regimented routine, Melt. Little flexibility in it. I think that's also a big part of our experience, Dan. Hearing that you do have this level of structure or a regimented routine, as you said, makes me think that at least you are like optimizing, you're making sure that your day is filled with process, right? Like you're moving towards a certain direction, but it doesn't make it necessarily any more enjoyable, right? I'm thinking about the routine that I had before I came to this side. I also had a routine, but I didn't always enjoy it, even though I still took satisfaction out of making sure it gets done. And maybe that's the way we're supposed to apply our attention, is to find things to appreciate instead of getting too stuck on how it could be differently. That's the big thing for me. I think I've already got all messages. Enough to admit that there's a strong point gap. This man doesn't have to change wiggle room. Fart man. And I'm more willing. Little ass activity slide. That's fair and measured cap. He said and no word. Something spilled. Yeah. Yep, it was the coffee. It was. I'm still kind of reeling, trying to like F in chat for our body. Thanks for the F's in chat. Thank you, Joe. F's in chat. I needed that. Wait, what happened? I just dropped my coffee. I put something in this thing, and then I closed it like this because I was just gonna put something away. Like I was like this, right? I opened it, poured a little bit of cream in, and then put this on top of it, and then I put the cream away, and then I went to go and pick my bottle up, and then I just go bloop. My whole very full flask. This whole thing was completely full to the top. It was on the floor and on the counter space, and with all of the stuff, tea bags and cookies, getting swimming in the coffee that I spilled. Thanks for the F's in chat. Melty, I replied to your Discord message. I can chat at 4:30 p.m. today if you're around. I think I should be. This could be a good time. It's just before Joe comes back home. What did I miss? Melt spilled his coffee, like all his coffee. Literally. It's like a pint's worth of coffee was on the counter space and on the table and on the floor. We're paying our respects and crackling in our and cackling in our respective cups. This is the part where we throw our heads back in laughter already. The ants under the fridge are gonna get shit done today. Mojo, that's hilarious. I mean, you can make more of it, but it's okay. It's true. It's not about making more of it. It's about resources. I think that's the thing that made me really cringe, right? It's because I really do not like being wasteful. Being wasteful is my least favorite thing to be, right? And then feeling like I'm wasting all of my, like I put a single spoon of honey and a little bit of cream in it, right? And honey and cream are like valuable resources, and of course coffee is also a valuable resource. And then I bring all of them together to have a good experience. And I was looking forward to having my good experience, and then seeing it on the floor, I was like, I was cringing, dying inside. Like I was not joking when I was saying. I don't know if you heard me say that in that moment, if it was auto disconnected at that point. I leave this man alone for 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, show. I think that was also a part of my cringe of like, now I'm making a mess of our home. A moment of silence for the cafefe, please. Love is true. There's no sense in crying over spilled milk. Yeah, it's not okay, Nancy. The coffee is gone. This is the take, Joe. No audio, main. Still? No, please. Why is why is this happening? I feel like I'm legit getting big challenged. Give me a second. Is it working? I don't know. No audio, main. If there's no overlap for your coffee, then you're not a real coffee drinker, Dan. A real coffee drinker is never without a coffee. I know I'm making jokes. I could find a way no matter what. Jeez, Melt, you dropped a cup of coffee. It's okay. It's true. It's true. It's true. It was just there was so much of it that it was getting under places that I can't reach, right? And that's the thing that was really getting me as well, where it's like I like things clean, I do, and making a mess is something that maybe like my childhood trauma, like getting my mom loud by making mistakes, right? And I suddenly feel all of that loud inside of my central nervous system. I saw some bro straight up eating his coffee pucks out of his maca pot. Yeah, that guy needs to be put in an asylum. Oh my goodness, in fairness, I think it was the whole canister of ground that was dropped. No, it was this vessel. Your laces are loose. Don't give Melt any ideas. Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I'm not gonna do that. Sounds like Zoe is co-regulating. Has been that experience a little bit. Zoe is pissed because now he thinks there's no more coffee in the house. He was screaming, I think, before as well, just a little bit. I need more subs so I can stream my pool matches and practice. Good luck, dear friend. Little by little, you'll get there. I have this routine because I have to. Dan says. I've accepted it, Melt. When taking on a partner, that person needs to understand that. Most people in New York City do because they have similar routines. She didn't offer that flexibility because she didn't want to, not because she was unable to. Did you switch scarves, my man? I did. I did have to switch scarves. The other scarf was covered in coffee, right? Like it fell like this, and then the coffee went over the countertop, and then it like I was like standing next to it, so it hit my scarf and ran down it. I'm calming down. I'm still calming down. Okay, I'm pretty sure my heart rate is literally elevated. I'll go and check my Whoop stats. It'll probably show me exactly when I spilled my coffee. It's temporary though. I'm with a good team who will promote me to a fully remote role in the next 1 to 2 years, and then I'll have more time for meditating as a part of my daily routine. I look forward to you getting that space, bro. Darren is here with us too. Zozo could hear you in the back. What's your favorite dinosaur? Stegosaurus. By default, it's probably the one he lives with. That's the one I wanted to say. TBH, Sam. But I felt Stegosaurus. I do like the Stegosaurus. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. That, or if I could get one, I would like get little raptors. Right? If I could have pets. If they would follow rules. Little raptors would be cool too. I'm sure happy that I slept well enough. I'm trying to almost like see what the underlying issue for me here is. Right? Because it is, as you said, there's no use crying over spilled milk. And I'm not in a state of like mourning necessarily. I'm just in a state of almost like flabbergastedness of like, oh, how do I bring myself back from that? I guess I just have to forget about it. I'm literally drinking coffee as we speak. All right, so nothing was lost. Not really. Nothing is lost. Maybe that's a way to reground myself. I think I'll play some kalimba about it. I think that's the best thing I can do right now. Iterate a little bit. Optimize. From what you said, it sounds like you went through some stuff in your youth when you messed up stuff. It sounds like you were scalded and you're still carrying that. It's all good. You'll get through it. It definitely was like that, right? I think it was one of those, it is still to this day, one of those things where I don't want to be an inconvenience, right? Even if I'm inconveniencing myself, which I did, right? By having to clean it. And then I was like thinking about the fact that I'm on stream and all I wanted to do was just get something done. Now I'm stuck cleaning the floor when all I want to do is be present with you friends. And I felt this sense of this experience taking me away from stream. And now it's still kind of happening and I'm still in a state of like, I don't want, I'm suffering. Suffering. Yes. There's a recent teaching that I've been called to consider again is that everything is a consequence of my decisions, right? I chose to have coffee this morning. I chose to get up. I chose to put some cream in my vessel because it was black. You know, I chose to not close it completely. I chose to pick it up after it wasn't closed completely. I chose to clean it instead of just leave it, right? And in this way, it becomes clear to me as I unpack all of these choices, right? I take a little bit more ownership over my experience. And it is one of those iteration optimizations where I have to iterate and iterate and iterate over and over and over again until I find myself a little bit more optimized on the other side of it, ideally. Maybe I am capable of growing. of not reacting with so much intensity. I have a baby raptor. He can sense changes in the humidity levels and when snacks have been opened in another room. And with time, he'll only learn more and grow stronger, send help and tasers. He'll even learn how to talk. He'll even learn how to say he wants things. Yeah, Mel, I look forward to it as well. I need the remote flexibility. 1 to 2 years. It's a good timeline to know that you're waiting for, right? 1 to 2 years is a good kind of like goal time frame. When the world went remote in 2020, I remember thinking, oh, I'm not depressed. I'm just consistently shrinking my needs to maintain an unsustainable routine that has been forced on me. That's a pretty deep thought to have. I think many people had that thought as well, Dan. Right? Some people did get more depressed during COVID as well. That was the other side of it. But I do believe that there was a realization in the collective mind that the way that we do things, the expectation to be in a certain geolocation at a certain time indefinitely, right, day to day, over and over again, it does feel a little bit disheartening. Maybe limiting is a good word as well. You said the words, I have to shrink my needs to maintain a sustainable routine, right? It's like we make ourselves smaller. We limit our own needs, our own desire for, as you said, like something as simple as meditation, just having the space to do nothing for a little bit as well. America definitely is way more fast paced. There's so much to see and so much to do that if you don't rush, you feel like you're going to miss something. All right. And then there is some things that have like time based or I'm thinking about like a show, right? If there's someone doing some sort of display, they're only doing it from this date to this date. And in that way, it can feel like you're constantly missing out on something. And I think that also contributes to a sense of hopelessness or dismay, right? I think it's good to reflect over something that is, at least to me, appears fairly innocuous. And from my side, I'm not understanding the level of upset. It's the same thing when I burn my cookies, Nancy. Joe definitely has seen me. I think when it comes to like big problems, I am more calm, right? But when it comes to like small problems, I seem to be very spirally, right? Like I get really up in my head. I would like hide when I would break a plate as a child as well, right? And I'm trying to understand. Like there's this dualistic interpretation inside my own head of like how much of it was my own projection. Like my mom was very angry. Like I know this. This I know. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know that she was a very angry person. I was, I guess I still am, but very dyslexic as a kid too. So she would try to get me to read, write, you know, and I would struggle. And she would get progressively more and more frustrated and livid with me as a child as well because I couldn't just get it. And I think like that kind of energy. I was also very rambunctious as a child. Like I would not sit still. I would not stop moving. I was also the kid that got beaten the most. My mom and my dad made the joke that I got beat so much that my siblings were well behaved because they saw what happens if they're not well behaved. And it never changed me. But I am now realizing that it's still very much a part of my like nervous system. However, and I think this is where it's like kind of trippy, when it came to like big issues, I was never really called into question. All right. Like the things that are actually important. For instance, right, like the fact that I was extremely overweight as a child. That was not something that was a problem, relatively speaking. It's not something that was corrected, you know? When I got really fat, my mom started telling me that I'm fat, but it's not something that I feel at least was bad, right? However, breaking things, especially because South Africa does have a little bit less abundance, was very much frowned upon. And I'm like going down a whole rabbit hole of like my own upbringing right now. Iteration, optimization. There was a conversation that I had with Joe on the road, how I believe that only at the age of like 35 will I have the maturity and like be in the life stage where I can make a decision on whether or not I want to have children, right? Only at that age can I even have the emotional maturity to make that decision. That's what I believe. I'm not saying that's true. That's just what I believe because I know myself. And I think all of us can probably idealize or romanticize the idea of having a kid and, you know, them being awesome and us being great parents, right? Like all of the good stuff that we can imagine, where more emotional maturity comes with a little bit more of a pragmatic approach to what it means to actually do that. And in that, the conversation kind of became a little bit wider in considering how we have been iterating as a species, children, raising children, raising children. Maybe I can even ask a language model. I'm curious because the question that I asked, or the consideration I proposed, was that probably less than a percentage of people having been raised were raised by adults, right? You ever think about that? That I don't even think it is a percentage. I think it would probably be like like 10% of a percent, right? A tenth of a percentage. Let's see. Let's use this one instead. Me and my friends are having a conversation about iteration optimization. And the specific point with which I am considering this topic is as it relates to raising children. How there is a type of iteration happening in the raising of children where people have kids and then their kids grow up and they have kids and then their kids grow up and then they have kids. But what I'm curious about is how many of us were raised by actual adults. I'd like to believe that we're only really adults when we're older than 30, ideally 35. And I'm thinking about how many kids are born to freaking 18-year-olds. And then these 18-year-olds are expected to raise these children. I guess some kids are being raised by their grandparents, but their grandparents might have had kids at a very young age as well. And they might have default mode networked themselves into being a certain way that they might not be able to escape. So the statistic that I'm curious about, and maybe you can add some scientific nuance as well. What does the science say about this as it relates to children raised by adults, real adults, people older than the age of 35, and how that influences quality of life? Because I do believe one of the reasons people are opting out of having children, alongside the fact that it's a cost of living crisis, is the fact that we were slighted. Most of us feel like we're slighted by our parents growing up because they were children that didn't know how to actually raise a child. How much? And this is the statistic I really want to know. What percentage of people were born to people older than 35 and were raised by them? That was a very contrived question to ask. Let's see what it gives me. It's a fascinating theory that our society's current parental dissatisfaction is essentially a biological and psychological bottleneck. It results of generations of children being raised by people who were, developmentally speaking, still children themselves. To address your curiosity, let's look at the actual math of who is being raised by real adults, as you say, 35 plus, and what the science says about how that changes the iteration of a human being. The statistic: who was raised by actual adults? If you define an adult as someone 35 or older, the historical data shows that for most of modern history, very few people were born to adults. However, we are currently in the middle of a massive demographic shift. In the 1990s, the snapshot looked like if you were born around 1990, only about 8% of your peers. Okay, so the numbers are higher than I expected even. 8%, 8.8% of your peers were born to mothers age 35 or older. Most people from that generation, roughly 70%, were born to women under 30. The 2023 snapshot. Today, the landscape has shifted. About 21% of all US births are to mothers age 35 or older. 16.8% for age 35 to 39, and 4.1% for over 40. The parental side, data for fathers show a similar but slightly older trend. Roughly 10% of infants are now born to fathers over 40, compared to only 4% 40 years ago. The reality: if you are a millennial or Gen X, the odds are overwhelmingly high, 90+%, that you were raised by someone who started the journey before they hit your perceived adult threshold. You are likely a part of the young parent iteration that you described. The science of the 35 plus parents. Research generally supports your hunch that older parents produce different outcomes, though it is a trade-off between biological risk and psychological stability. The socio-emotional buffer. Studies, notably from Max Planck Institute, show that children of older mothers, 35 plus, tend to have fewer behavioral problems. There it is, such as aggression or rule breaking. There is patience and perspective. Older parents are significantly more likely to use positive parenting techniques, reasoning and dialogue, rather than coercive parenting, punishment and shouting. Yeah, and again, right, I don't blame my parents for beating me. All right, they were a product of their society as well. They got raised getting beat. That was part of their norm, right? It's a cultural thing. But it didn't work. Shouting at me and beating me didn't work. It just made me insane. It made me like legit crazy. It made me like hide. It made me become very good at masking. Made me a very good liar. And it didn't change me, unfortunately, right? If there was reasoning and dialogue instead, maybe that could have helped. And then there's the default mode network. You mentioned the default mode network. Interesting, by age 35, the brain's prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain, that regulates the default mode network's tendency to ruminate or act on impulses, is fully cemented and seasoned. Older parents are simply better at emotional regulation, meaning that they don't leak their stress onto their children as often. The cultural capital effect. Children of older parents consistently score higher on cognitive and academic tests. This isn't necessarily because the parents are smarter, but because they're usually more established. By 35, a parent is more likely to have a larger vocabulary, which they pass on, financial stability, which means they're in survival mode, less in the house, reducing stress, and a more intentional desire for the child with higher psychological availability. There is, however, a biological trade-off. The iteration optimization hits a snag when it comes to biology. Older age, 35 plus for women and 45 plus for men, is linked to higher rates of chromosomal anomalies and a slight increase in the risk of neurodivergent conditions like autism and schizophrenia, particularly linked to advanced parental age. The slight degeneration, why we feel this way. Your point about the cost of living crisis versus feeling slighted is psychologically sound. There is a concept called parental reflective functioning, the ability of a parent to understand their child's internal world. Young parents between the age of 18 and 25 are still in the stage of identity formation. They are iterating their own personalities while trying to guide yours. When a child is raised by someone who hasn't finished building their own ego, the child often feels like an accessory to the parent's growth or a burden to their survival. Rather than a separate human being to be nurtured. So yeah, look at that. The verdict, you aren't imagining it. Most people alive today were raised by biological adults who were still psychological adolescents. We are currently living through the first era in history where a significant chunk of the population, 1 in 5, is being raised by what you would consider actual adults. It remains to be seen if this optimization will fix the generational trauma or just create a new brand of it. Wow, that is very apt. How about that? Bet you didn't think you're gonna get some wisdoms. I feel like I am way more informed than I was just a moment ago. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there you go. The science is clear. Optimization through iteration. Coffee done. Before 10:30 a.m. Winning. All right. Let's see what you friends think about this little bit of information we just shared. There we go. Remote flexibility. I think it's good to reflect. We have. I feel like I've reflected a lot. And I feel like I understood. I do try to understand. And I feel like I am understanding a little bit more about myself and the reason why I am the way I am. A routine I have to adopt to survive. And when I find myself, and then I find myself, surprise, surprise, surviving, not thriving, not growing. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go and repatch. Oh, that hole is not as big as it used to be, at least, but it still needs to be repatched, I believe. Thank you, friends, for holding space for me while I... Oh my god. Washy, washy, wound. There we go. All patched up again. Thank you for holding space for me. Sweet. Fully present. Because every time I bring my elbow back, that that scab catches on the material behind me and messes with me. All right. I think we all have these feelings. At least it shows you care. Because if you did something like that and didn't care, that would probably be worse. I mean, it's okay to not care about dropping coffee. I wonder if there's more. I did see a comma. Yeah, you are right. It's like one of those things where it's not the end of the world. It really is not the end of the world. This is but a small little thing. But because of the way that I've been before, things influence us, right? And we are all still being influenced by the way that we were raised. That isn't going to go away, right? That's a part of the iteration that we have to get good at optimizing too. It's interesting what triggers us. I can gauge my emotional state by how annoyed I get when drivers who are following too close to me when I have nowhere else to go or I can't go any faster. I feel you on that, Nancy. Dan says, I think when you take a lot of abuse for reasonable mistakes as a kid, you start to internalize that. We look very similar. Yeah, Nutty. That's pretty cool. I like to see people that look like me. You should send a selfie of yourself if you want to on the Discord. I'll say hi. Dan agreed. That's what I was trying to convey about what triggers me. Absolutely. Dan says, I struggle hard with setting boundaries because as a kid, I had to accept a lack of boundaries with my parents in exchange for love. So there's a fear that if I set boundaries, people will leave. And exactly, Nanch. I see what you're saying. Combat says, yeah, it's definitely hard. It's a double-edged sword. If you care too much, it can really get to you. And if you don't care enough, things will usually collapse. So you gotta find that line, that balance. You Melt, my love. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Feeling present, slept enough, feel excited for another day. Still got to have my coffee. We'll still get to share a nice lunch with show coming up. We got Mr. Wonderful saying, bro, I feel you. I have PTSD from my childhood. Violence, abuse, fights, self-harm. I live in constant fear all my childhood. Mr. Wonderful, thank you for not perpetuating these cycles onto your kids as well, for being aware. Dan says, I feel you, Melt. I was the only one that got beaten, and it all happened when I was a small child, 5 to 6 years old. That's when I received most of my beatings too. I think I received my last beating when I was 14. That was the one where I like made my dad feel extra bad about it, right? Because he was like, at 14, I had my adult body, right? I weighed 170 pounds at 14. And so I was already big, right? So he had to beat me as hard as he could for it to register. And then he did. And that was the one where I would like send him photo updates where it took 6 weeks for there to no longer be bruises on my ass. And that was the last time that he that he did that. So I made sure that he felt some of it as well on the other side. And then when there was a custody battle, the beatings just stopped overnight. Big surprise. Wow, I'm so surprised. Can you believe that? Greetings, everyone. Hey, Moon Moon. Hope you're doing well. We all know why he stopped hitting me. Yep, of course. Of course, because now you have to be on his side. Yeah, man, I understand. I'm in the same way, and it's a big problem. Calm as a cucumber, but my cell phone drops the internet a couple of times and I lose my mind. Doesn't make sense, right? Yesterday was a moment like that. I don't know if I want to go down the rabbit hole, but yeah, it was like a technology thing where my tech just wasn't working the way it was supposed to. And I was getting really skizzed for multiple hours out of my day yesterday. Juan, I feel that, man. I didn't realize until I started having anxious breakdowns in my mid-20s that I was conditioned to live in fear. I feel like we're doing so much conscious evolution in this space right now. Maybe the coffee spilling needed to happen. It needed to happen so that we can have this conversation, so that we can kind of like step into the authentic experience that we're having together right now. Moon, good to see you, and happy to have you here. It's made me the best father in the world, though, Mr. Wonderful say. I broke the chain. Everyone praises my parenting. My kids feel safe and happy, and I'm so grateful. That's her reality. You're doing good, dear friend. Thank you for doing that for her, breaking the chain, as you said. My parents were conservative Christians and were encouraged to pick up a ping pong paddle to handle me. That broke me. They broke it over my back when I was 14. I laughed in their face, and that was that. Yeah, ping pong paddle. Ping pong paddle. I don't. I think I got beaten by a ping pong paddle once. Wood spoons, belts. Belts was the one that really hurt. I hated getting beat by belts. Long sticks, long thin sticks. We call it a lot. Those would burn as well. But yeah, the belt. Jeez, belts were the one that really hurt. I have dyslexia as well. And what I've learned at the end of the day, reading and language are not universal if they were. If they were, everyone would do the same, so it's not that made up letters look weird to us. Yeah, I got good. I got good eventually, right? I almost brute forced myself into being able to read, but it like I was 6 at the time, right? When my mom was like really stressing upon me, like, "Ew, that's a B, not a D. Why do you say B when it's D?" And I'm like, because that's what it looks like to me. What do you mean, right? The B's and the D's, like just my brain doesn't differentiate. It doesn't matter to my brain which way something points, right? Like that's the kind of dyslexia I have. So the B and the D, right? Having that, I'm making a symbol here. Having that little, right? My brain couldn't differentiate because in my brain it looked like the same thing. Because on the axis, I don't know how that works, but apparently that's the thing that I had. That's the thing that I had to work on. Sam, I did something similar after being spanked and laughed and said that didn't hurt. Then I started getting ground instead. Yeah. I don't think they had the option of grounding me. I feel like I was almost like grounded permanently, right? With living on the farm. So they never tried to do that, interestingly enough. That's the beauty of your trauma. That's the beauty in your trauma, John. Setting it right with your kids. I hope to have that privilege someday. Same then. She recently said playfully, "I wish you would yell at me." And I flashed back and said, "Why would you want that?" And she said, "Because I've never heard it." I teared up that night. I'm happy for her. That really is beautiful, Mr. Wonderful. Love is true. To be honest, Mel, I don't think age is a damn thing to do with it. My father was 37 when I was born. He was 42 when he beat the shit out of me as a 5-year-old. I don't think it's 100% correlative. I'll agree with you on that, at least, Dan. Uh, I think it's a generation thing as well, right? Like their generation grew up when they were kids, a part of the way of being where beating your kids was still a norm, right? My dad very much grew up in that age as well. My dad got beat a lot too. He would tell me stories about it. He would tell me stories about it, especially when he beat me. He was like, "It's okay to get beaten because I got beaten too." I was like, sounds like some bullshit to me. Like I was so disillusioned from a very young age. I did not like my parents, to be completely honest. They were they were very much a part of my challenge, right? I love them now. I love them a lot more now. But as a kid, it was very hard. Fewer behavioral problems. Yes, Seth is so well behaved. I waited until I was in my mid 30s, and it was the best thing I could have done for my mental health coming into this. You see, dualistic perspectives, it goes both ways. Yeah, Dan, A lot of that depends on the parents' upbringing as far as emotional maturity goes. Yep. I agree, Nanj. Perhaps age is a factor, but there's always other variables. This I'll agree with as well, Dan. Dan, I was a neurotic mess in my early adulthood. On top of the abuse, I was never taught anything. I've come a long way, but it was all on my own. I'm glad I grew up basically my own parent. Basically, I had to be. All of us technically have to be our own parents. That sounds a lot like what I'm going through, Juan. Thanks for sharing. How old are you? 35. I was 25 when my daughter was born, and it's been amazing. Love is true. There's some videos of us on my channel. You can see how happy we are. We are happy 98% of the time, 2% misbehaving, and me correcting, opposite of my past. She's been a good kid, caring, bright, and funny. So much love. Miss Pegs is here with us too. Good morning, friend. I know, Nexus or Nexum. I am a little bit of a cornball. I can be pretty corny myself. I kind of enjoy the corniness of reality, right? You can be very serious, and I am sometimes real serious. But I don't think anybody really, what's the word, associates with, can relate to ultimate seriousness. But corniness kind of like catches you off guard a little bit, right? Makes you smirk just like a little bit, like, okay, fine. Fine, love is true. I wish I had something like that, Juan. I don't have much external source of love in my life. This space is one, but I don't have anything really direct like that, like a partner or a child. My father never used an object. He would hold me up against the wall in a chokehold and then release the grip and drop me. Then he'd taunt me, telling me to get up. When I would try to get up, he'd kick me back to the ground and then tell me to get up again. It was some psychological shit. Suddenly, I have this real desire to go and fight your dad, Dan. Like the protective, like fatherly energy in my heart, right? I do consider myself like a papa bear sometimes. I'll fight your dad, Dan. I'll fight him. Should we go fight your dad? We'll wear balaclava, so, and then we'll go kick his ass. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't listen to me, computer. I'm just joking. I do not advocate for violence. We're just experimenting in mind here. Love is true. Love is true. Love is true. All right. I'm gonna now flare these cards. And if you friends would do me a favor and tell me when to stop. Let's see if the message we get from the world would be the same as the one that we've shared. Maybe it could add some nuance, accentuate some of the depth that we have explored. Maybe this iteration of card pulling will allow us to optimize even more. The Rock Shaman! Dude, I talked about you with Joe and with Sam just the other day. You were here for the first time when William joined us, and I saw your username and you telling me about like sitting on the rocks and learning from nature, right? That you spent all of that time absorbing psychological information, listening to teachers, and it's only when you actually stopped and started listening to the world that you really started learning some stuff. And just seeing your username and seeing that kind of response to what it is what we were discussing, it made me feel like you could be a great part of this space as well. Thank you for telling me to stop. This is the card we pulled today. It's one of my personal favorites. It's called Swallow the Sun. It has swallows. Thank you, friend. Swallow the sun. Those swallows creating dark contrast and sun energy as a diamond. Hi Pegs, Nancy blessing our friend with acknowledgement of their existence. It's nice of you, Nancy. Swallow the sun. We have been pulling new cards, or at least cards we haven't pulled frequently. I look forward to going through each of these cards with you friends in this community. After going through that whole sacred geometry representation, that when you look at an image like this, you're not just seeing what's being presented to you, right? That is, of course, happening as well. But there is a pattern that follows a certain mathematical formula, right? Every line is in its place for a reason. And when you expose your consciousness to such patterns, there is a certain tuning happening, right? Like a tuning fork, dong! You can like put it against your body, and then that frequency embeds inside of you. These images do the same thing. Swallow the sun. Dreams and visions are the core meanings of this card, right? And there's the diamond. That's the diamond symbol hidden inside this image. You see that, isn't it? Oh yeah. All right. The sun is celebrated throughout the world as a giver of life, and in some cultures, as a god. Both the ancient Greeks and Romans worshipped one or more solar deities, and in Hindu literature, the sun is mentioned as the visible form of God that one can see every day. Aztec, Incan, and Egyptian traditions all held the sun in godly accord. Whatever your spiritual belief, it is clear that our sun represents a psychological principle that transcends time and place. The vibrant geometry of this sun card invites you to explore its symbolism and its ability to illuminate and guide you. Swallow, swoop, and play in this solar portal, encouraging you to see a light-hearted reflection of your dreams and visions. Dreams, whether in sleep or the musings of reverie, will offer clues to your internal process. Vision directs your path and offers a sense of purpose, vitality, and life force. What messages have your dreams offered lately? That took me so off guard. I shared with Joe this morning that I did not have good dreams last night. I had multiple dreams, at least two. I don't know how many I had, but at least two that I can remember, where my family was running away from me. And I don't mean like, in the relative sense. I mean in the literal sense. The last one I can remember, we were in some sort of like tall building, and it was like some sort of aisle or like clothing store, and then something happened between me and my dad, and then I thought he was out of earshot when I like made a grumble of like right, and I might have said something mean like fuck this or something like that, and then they somehow heard me and literally started running away from me, like running. And I chased them. I did chase them, but I couldn't catch up. Swallow the sun. What messages have your dreams offered lately? What progress are you making in the realization
of your vision. Meditate with this card and consider these questions. Do not be hard on yourself if you are not happy with your progress. Realize that when you push too hard, you may actually be resisting the thing that you most desire. Relax with your positive intentions as you bring your finest dreams and visions into this reality. And I pulled it upside down, the rock shaman. This is how it came out of the deck. The reverse meaning goes, the sky seems clouded, yet you may find a place of clarity and vision within. The sky might seem clouded, yet you may find a place of clarity and vision within. Phew! Man, I was not expecting to get that caught off guard. All right. The sun has definitely been worshipped, and all kinds of ways, all kinds of cultures. There's even an idea that Jesus is a representation of the side, of that side in the Christian religion. The source of light, right? Repeated melt. What caught you off guard? The question of what messages have your dreams offered lately? Where not once but twice last night, I I experienced this message, and maybe it's projection. Maybe I'm running away from my parents. Maybe I'm running away from my family. Maybe they're feeling like I'm running away from them too. And maybe dreaming about that is supposed to offer the message of what that might feel like. Right? Learning as myself as well. Learning about myself as well. I was raised as a Christian, the rock shaman says, but spent much time in nature. In my 20s, I was deep in the woods questioning spirituality. I then had an epiphany. Nature cannot lie, but man can and will. Trust nature. It knows all the truth. It is the truth. That's beautiful, rock shaman. Snowflake beta boy. Joe Smith, you are loved, dear friend. And you are worthy of kindness and due consideration of love as much as anyone else's. I hope you find yourself calm enough to be willing and open to learn that there is many ways to be. There is many ways to be, including Snowflake Beta Boy. And it doesn't make that person any less worthy of being either. If you are alpha male, what's the opposite of snowflake? Waterman, right? Then good for you. Good for you. Right? I'm happy that you're doing so well. I personally like being open with myself and open with my community and have this willingness to show that it's okay to be emotional, to understand that you are so much more than just a person. Right? You are this whole emotional entity. You are this hopes and dreams, visions, as well. It's about knowing thyself. Now that is the ultimate Zoomer haircut. You like it? Does it make me look young? Thank you, Josh. Thanks. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. Someone once told me I look like I'm 12 with this haircut, and I'm like, sick. I just need to shave my beard, and then I can look 19. Right? Apparently, according to my fitness stats, I have the metabolic health of a 19-year-old. And I love that. I'm like, yeah, yay! Yeah! Sorry, I calm down. I'm calming down again. Yeah, I'm perfect. All right. Don't forget to eat a tube of swagger today. Your gut will thank you. Carl Young. Wait a second. Melt, regarding your dream, I made the connection of you moving to a new country. Yep, me too, Nancy. I think it definitely has something to do with it. Especially since we just had this weekend of
right? Getting married, like sharing our vows, like making this commitment to one another. And there definitely is an element of feeling like I'm excluding my family a little bit in that because I'm so far away. I did try, full disclosure, they asked me to send a link on the group so that they can join us. And then I did. And then they didn't join us. And then he asked me, oh, I thought you'd send the link. And I'm like, I did. I did send the link. I made extra effort to like be on my tablet while the stream was going to make sure you can get the link. Right. So maybe that's where some of my projection comes from feeling abandoned, right? Left. Carl Jung believed that dreams and everything that shows up in them is us. It's our unconscious. I do believe this too. Tweak the Devourer, hello to you. It's nice having you here too. Don't forget to eat a double swaggered. Melt, listen to me. Having strange dreams after sitting with me for a few hours is to be expected. It should clear up. Thanks. It wasn't strange. It wasn't strange to me. That's the thing, Sam. It felt very apt, almost. Like I am someone to be run away from, right? I am a little bit strange. No, really, Mel. The collective community says, you strange? I thought you were a normal guy 5,000. You know, normal. Maximum normalist. See, I can still act like a fucking idiot, even when I'm sad, Lamau. Well, me and you both, bro. Jesus loves you. Thank you, Golden Nebula, Roblox. Jesus loves you too, dear friend. Remember what I told you about my sister. Same thing. You'll be okay. Oh, yeah. Damn. I'm gonna keep that in mind for when I'm traveling to you soon, Sam. I had a crazy dream that night, too. Yes, it seems to be just in the air. Congratulations. Thank you, the Rock Shaman. Yeah, my sister was seeing auras while I still lived at home. People react differently to me. Power, right? The sphere of influence you have. There's something that enters the room even before you do. I'm sorry, I don't know why there's something wrong. It was definitely cool watching you have a moment there, man. I'm glad you have this type of thing in your life. Also, now I see why you have your scarf. Not just style, it helps the tears. Dude, I think, when was it that I cried? I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I cried a little bit. And then in my crying, I like reached for my scarf, even though there wasn't one. Right? Sometimes I cry and then I dry my tears. That's why scarf. And then sometimes I dance, and then I dance with my scarf. And then sometimes I'm cold, and then I'll cover my neck up. And sometimes I'm hot, and then I'll cover this thing in water, and it'll do the opposite of what a scarf does normally. Maybe I'll become really gassy and bloated around you, Sam. Maybe you'll be contacted by NASA so that you can provide fuel for their next Apollo mission. Some of you friends will know the phantom scarf syndrome. Very common, yes, as they say. You friends really do make me happy. I love being in this energy with you, for showing up, growing alongside each other, consciously evolving. There is some strong energy shifts right now. Flow with it. I look forward to continuing this flow with you, friends. I appreciate you joining me, for sharing in this space. I will be here again tomorrow. I already look forward to spending some more time with you, friends. Thank you for joining me today. It is a pleasure getting to be in this space. I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Wonderful. Bye. Bye-bye now. You be good. I'll see you again. Cheers.